The glass slipped from my hand before I even realized I'd dropped it. The shatter cut through the chatter around us, every head at the dinner table turning toward me, the sound echoing like a gunshot in the warm wine-scented air. Her eyes found mine across the table, wide, guilty, almost pleading. "Evan, it was just a kiss," she said softly, her voice trembling through the sudden silence. Just a kiss. The words burned hotter than the wine still stinging my tongue. I stared at her, at Lena, and for a split second the world tilted. My chest ached, not from anger yet, but from the terrifying realization that she didn't even understand what she'd done. I forced a smile, small and fragile. "Just a kiss," I repeated, my voice barely audible. She nodded, her eyes glistening. "It didn't mean anything. I made a mistake." Mistake. That's what she called it. Like forgetting to buy milk. The others at the table, our friends, her co-workers, shifted uneasily in their seats. The dinner party I'd planned to celebrate her promotion had turned into a public autopsy of our marriage. The candles flickered against the stunned faces around us. I could hear the faint ticking of the clock over the fireplace, counting down what little remained of the life we'd built together. "Who was it?" I asked, even though I already knew. Her silence was my answer. "Jason, her colleague, the one she always swore was like a brother." He sat 2 seats down, looking like he wanted to melt into the floor. His wife, Rachel, was staring at him, her face pale and rigid. The air crackled with tension. I could almost hear hearts breaking in stereo. I stood slowly, feeling every heartbeat pounding in my chest. "You said it was just a kiss," I said again, but this time there was no tremor in my voice. "So tell me, Lena, how long does just a kiss last? Second? A minute? Long enough for him to slide his hand under your hair and pull you closer?" "Evan, please," she whispered. Her voice sounded small, fragile, like something I used to protect, now reduced to something I could barely recognize. But I wasn't angry yet. Not really. I was somewhere between heartbreak and disbelief, floating in that numb space where emotions blur together into something that almost feels calm. I picked up my glass, what was left of it, and took a slow sip of the remaining wine. "I should thank you," I said quietly. "You saved me from the slow death of believing we were still happy." Her lip quivered. "I didn't want to hurt you. It just happened." "It just happened," I echoed. "Like gravity." Rachel suddenly pushed back her chair, the scrape of wood on tile slicing through the air. "You told me it was a work thing," she hissed at Jason. "You said it was just a dinner." Jason didn't look up. His silence was confession enough. The room erupted then. Murmurs, gasps, whispers. But I couldn't hear any of it. My focus narrowed to Lena's face, the woman I'd built a life with, now a stranger wearing her skin. I remembered the early mornings she'd kiss me half awake before leaving for work. The scent of coffee on her breath. The way she used to hum while cooking dinner. All of it now twisted, poisoned by the memory of her mouth on someone else's. I set the glass down gently. "You know what the cruelest part is?" "Yes. I believed you when you said he was just a friend. I defended you when people warned me. I told them they didn't know you like I did." Her tears spilled over then, quiet and desperate. "Evan, please, not here. Can we just talk, privately?" "Privately?" I laughed softly, bitterly. "No, I think it's time the truth stops hiding behind closed doors." I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out my phone. I'd been debating whether to do this for days. I wasn't sure I'd have the strength. But tonight she'd made that choice for me. I opened the video and pressed play. Her voice filled the room instantly. "Jason, stop, someone might see," she said in the recording, breathless, followed by his low chuckle. Gasps erupted around the table as the screen glowed with their reflection. Her lips on his, her fingers tangled in his hair, the kind of intimacy that didn't belong to strangers or accidents. Lena's hand flew to her mouth. "How did you?" "I found your backup folder," I said flatly. "Your cloud synced to my laptop." Jason shot to his feet. "You had no right." "Neither did you," I cut in sharply. The silence that followed was unbearable. I could feel everyone's eyes darting between us, between her tears and my shaking hands. I looked at her one last time, the woman I'd loved for 6 years, trusted with every broken piece of myself, and I felt something inside me finally give way. I leaned down, brushed a tear off her cheek and whispered, "You're right. It was just a kiss." Then I kissed her, softly, deliberately, one last time. A goodbye kiss that tasted like salt and wine and heartbreak. When I pulled back, she looked at me with wide, shimmering eyes, whispering, "Evan, please don't do this." But I already had. I turned to the table, to every silent witness in that room, and said calmly, "She said it was just a kiss." So I kissed her goodbye. Then I walked out, leaving behind the stunned faces, the whispers, the clinking of untouched glasses. Outside, the night was cold and alive. The stars blurred as I exhaled, the air sharp in my lungs. Didn't feel like freedom. Not yet. It felt like the space between endings and beginnings, the hollow ache after the storm before the calm. But as I walked down the quiet street, I realized something. She had taken my trust, yes, my love, my belief, but not my truth. That I had just dropped in front of everyone. And it landed louder than the sound of a breaking glass.